good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, everybody, wherever you are in the world. Philip Wade here from the Universal Studio in North Yorkshire in England. And I just wanted to share a little bit today about the subject on the screen, which I've called Checkmate for the Ego Identity. And by the way, this is a bit of a first, because I think we're streaming to both Facebook Live and YouTube Live as we go. So I'm not sure whether I'll be able to see your comments or not, but we'll see anyway. But anyway, on to the subject, checkmate for the ego identity. And this comes from, life at times. It can feel like a little bit of a game of chess, and chess ultimately is a war game. Because the identity as the self, the small s self, the ego identity, is always in a battle for self-preservation. The small self-preservation, it's built up, and we've invested in this identity as me, the small self, the ego, as a way of kind of protecting ourselves from the vagaries of the world. And it's all based on a fundamental and flawed belief that all you are is the body-mind, when in truth, one is already and always has been and always will be the infinite silence, or the infinite awareness, or the infinite consciousness. And it's this single flawed belief that you are the body-mind and that's all that you are, is actually that's the fundamental block to spiritual self-realization. And what happens as you feel a calling to go within, a kind of calling emerging, so for there must be more to life than this. Typically, people go on a journey of meditation and spiritual inquiry. These are the two key elements to opening yourself to a deeper truth. I call it two wings, one angel, the angel or the awareness being the infinite silence. And mind has loads and loads of questions about life and can't understand life and doesn't really get it and is forever in fear ultimately. But as the inquiry opens, and if one is open from the space within to the calling of the awareness, all of these questions gradually get dissolved if you're prepared to listen to the inner awareness that's arising from within. Now, the ego mind fears the responses to those because it equates its dissolution, the checkmate I'm talking about, with its death, and it equates that with the death of the physical body. And that's why ego is always ducking and diving, bobbing and weaving, seeking, moving left, moving right, trying to find ways out of this particular present situation it finds itself in, and to change or keep itself safe. But with the openness to the inquiry and in a meditative space, eventually the ego mind starts to run out of moves. And as the emotional body dissolves more and more, the ego mind has less and less moves that it can make. And eventually the infinite awareness, it's the conclusion of this ultimately is inevitable, whether it's in this form, in this life, or in another life, or another form, another body. But the inevitable conclusion is checkmate. The king will die, so to speak, because the infinite awareness is everywhere. And ultimately, the ego identity can't escape the ultimate truth. And that's why self-realization, spiritual self-realization, or enlightenment, if you like, is fundamentally, ultimately, is like checkmate for the ego. And that's why there's so much fear and angst and so forth that can come up in the process, because it's fighting literally for its life like a game of chess. But if one is truly open truly seeking, choosing to bring an end to the suffering, then it's the combination of inquiry and meditation that's going to take you there. And that's what's going to bring the identity to checkmate and realize the self. So be open to this checkmate. And I'd just like to conclude today just by sharing I've had uploaded onto an app, a meditation app. It's called Insight Timer, and you may be aware of it. A new meditation today. It's a 5-minute one, and it's called Are You Taking the Time to Stop? And I'm posting the link to that now. I don't know whether that will appear on YouTube and on Facebook, but we'll see. There's three in total little meditations on Insight Timer, and you can follow the profile there. They're all free, and you get notified when anything new gets added, and I will be adding some more over the next few weeks. So there's loads of resources on this page, on my YouTube channel, and on my website. So do look out for those. So just a reminder, just to conclude today, basically the whole process of spiritual self-realization is about realizing that which you are seeking is that which you already, non-personal, as infinite awareness, already are. And when there's a total openness and acceptance of that, then it truly will be checkmate for the ego identity. So that's it. I'll sign off now. Philip Wade here from North Yorkshire, the Universal Studio, England. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Namaste. And do look out for those other resources I mentioned. Bye now.